Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the evidence you about to present in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God?
I do.
Go ahead and have a seat. State your full name for the record, please.
Tom Priest,
Where do you work?
City Camp Police Department.
Are you a post-certified peace officer in the state of Georgia?
Yes, I am.
Tell the jury, if you would, what it means to be post-certified in this state.
You go through certified training through the state of Georgia, 10 weeks worth of training.
Where'd you go to the academy?
Where to go to the academy? At the old Kennesaw Post by Kennesaw Mountain,
What year was that?
2000.
Where all have you worked as a police officer?
Just Canton.
When you first started at Canton, what kind of work did you do?
I worked UPD the road.
Now, we know we have our acronyms and things like that. What is UPD?
Uniform Patrol Division.
And when you did that, what type of duties and things did you do?
Answered calls, traffic stops, patrol the area.
Did you ever get promoted or move up and do different type of work at the police department?
Was promoted to detective
Okay, when did you start doing that?
March of 2013.
And when you become detective, how many people are detectives at the police department today?
Today we have 5 detectives.
If you can just kind of tell the jury, the Canton Police Department, tell them how big it is, how many people we have, how many active investigators or detectives that we have working cases now.
Canton Police Department, we have, I believe, is about 55 sworn officers. We've got 5 detectives in our unit, 2 sergeants, a lieutenant, and a captain.
And where do you rank in the supervisory capacity at the police department?
I'm not a supervisor.
Do you work with other people that, besides just investigators, you work with the patrol and other people at the police department?
Yes.
Now, does the PD's office have actually like a crime scene unit like the sheriff's office does?
No, we do not.
When part of your training, do you have to get like continuing education and things like that?
Yes.
Do you specialize in any type of training or any type of police work?
As far as
Do you have any specialties that you focus on, or is it pretty much whatever? You're more of a general police officer.
we in detectives in Canton, we try to specialize, but we don't have specialized units. One week you might have a shoplifting case, or you might have a homicide case, or a child molestation case. You just never know what's going to come up.
And part of your duties that you're there, if you have crime scene stuff, you have to take photographs or process a scene. Do you do that sometimes?
Yes.
If you tell the jury what it means when I say to process a scene like crime scene, what does that involve?
It involves looking at the scene, seeing what you can visually see, photographing the scene, collecting evidence, looking for witnesses.
Do you have any specialized training to process a crime scene?
Other than basic crime scene processing, no.
So you had training on taking photographs?
Yes.
Training on lifting fingerprints?
Yes.
And training on kind of just drawing diagrams or just this marking what the scene looks like?
Yes.
Now, does the sheriff's office have more people that are more dedicated to processing crime scenes?
Yes.
When you get called to a scene and the police department responds, like a major scene like this, how many people typically respond?
Depends on the incident.
Let me turn your attention now to, I believe, Tuesday, December the 8th of 2020. I believe the 911 call was around 2:26 p.m. Did you get called out to 215 Mountain Vista Boulevard in Canton?
Yes, I was the one responding.
What county was this residence in?
Cherokee County.
Tell the jury, when you got called in, where did you come from and what did you see when you first got there?
He came from the Canton Police Department, which is right across the street, 151 Elizabeth Street. Drove to the scene. By the time I got there, I spoke with Sergeant Soto, who gave me a rundown of what was going on.
When you arrived on the scene, had the child had already been transported to the hospital?
Yes.
Who was there when you were there, as it regards to the scene, lay persons, not law enforcement?
There was 2 or 3 males and 1 female, I believe, were still there.
Did you see the defendant, Chloe Driver? Was she there when you arrived?
No.
When you got to the scene, at some point, did you go inside the residence?
Yes, I did.
And did you have an opportunity to view the residence and see what was going on?
Yes.
Tell the jury what you remember seeing when you first arrived.
I was led upstairs to the room where the incident occurred and saw large amounts of blood on the bed and on the floor, and I also observed a knife on the floor.
Did you have an opportunity to look at some photographs in this case?
Yes, I took some photographs of it.
Did you have an opportunity to look at some photographs that were taken, aerial photographs from Google Maps and things like that?
Yes.
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm handing what's been marked State's Exhibits 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. These are Google photographs of the residence. Look at those and see if they're fair enough photographs.
They are.
Just this time I tendered evidence, State's Exhibits 5 through 9.
No objection.
They are admitted.
Judge, may I have permission to post those?
Go ahead.
Thank you. All right, what we're going to do is going to look at some of these. I'm just going to start with State's Exhibit 5. It should pop up on your screen here. State's 5, what are we looking at here?
That's like a Google map showing a direct route from the courthouse here to the incident residence.
Okay, as you look at State's 5 up on the left, is that indicating where the courthouse is?
Yes.
And then down towards the bottom, there's a little red mark or circle indicating where the scene was. Is that right?
Yes.
About how far is that from the courthouse as we stand today?
3.3 miles.
Now, this is State 6. The scene itself, what type of residential area is this in the city? Is it a suburb or
It's
subdivision?
a single home residential area.
All right, State 6, what do we have here?
That's an aerial view of the whole subdivision.
Now I'm going to take my marker. You see my hand down here?
Yes.
The indicator.
Yes.
Is this the residence, the scene that we're talking about?
Yes, it is.
And then a closer view, State 7. Is this the scene here?
Yes, that's an aerial view of the residence.
State 8, what are we looking at here?
The front of the residence.
How would you describe this neighborhood?
Quiet.
Y'all get many calls there?
No.
States 9, what are we looking at here?
That's the side driveway up to the residence.
When you went in to the residence, did you go upstairs first and did you do something else?
I walked inside the residence and then I was directed upstairs where it happened.
And if you were to walk in this residence, if you go up the steps, am I correct that you actually take a left and go down the hallway?
If you're coming through the front door, yes. I believe also through the side door to the garage.
So eventually, when you get upstairs, the room that we're talking about where the death occurred is upstairs, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Did you have a chance to go into that room?
Yes, I did.
Tell the jury what you remember about the room.
It was a small room. It wasn't very big, like a standard sized bedroom. There was a mattress on the floor. There was really no other furniture around, but there was large amounts of blood on the bed and on the floor, and a knife on the floor.
Were you asked to take any photographs of the scene?
Yes.
And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
May I approach you on it? These are State's Exhibits 10 through 19. See if these are fair and accurate photographs of the photos you took of the scene on December 8th, 2020. State's Exhibit 10 through 19, fair and accurate photographs of the room where the stabbing took place.
Yes, it is.
Just this time I tendered it was 10 through 19.
No objection.
10 through 19 are admitted.
May I publish them, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, this is State's 10. Tell the jury what we're looking at here.
That's looking into the bedroom from the hallway.
Did you know, what information did you know about what had occurred in this room before you got there?
That there was a baby that was critically injured and somebody else had been injured.
Do you know anything about how entry was made into this room by the people?
They made forced entry
And in State's 10, you took a picture of the door frame. Why did you do that?
because it shows the break in the door frame that somebody had to force themselves into the bedroom.
State's 11, is this another picture of the door frame?
Yes, it is.
And what is it showing here?
It's showing the forced entry and the break of the door frame.
State's 12, did you take a photograph of the bottom part of the door?
The piece where the doorknob goes into to secure the door shut down on the floor, just showing that the frame had been broken.
State's 13, and we have a kind of a wider view of the room, is that right?
Yes.
And when you take photographs, do you sometimes have a method that you do, or do you go from like left to right or right to left, or do you just kind of take photographs as you see things?
You do oversee it and go either left or right to left.
And now, for the record, in State's 13, what do we see in this photograph here?
There's a knife laying on the floor and a bunch of medical supplies, trash on the floor and blood stain.
The knife, is that how when you arrived it was in the room?
Yes, it is.
State's 14 kind of moving to the right, is that correct?
Yes.
What do we have here?
The picture of the mattress, the bed on the floor with blood.
Outside of these items that you see in the room, is this how the room was when you arrived?
Yes, it is.
Not much else in it besides these things?
Yes, sir.
Did you know where anything occurred in this room?
I did not.
You're just taking it as it presents itself?
Yes.
All right, State's 15, what do we have here?
Large amounts of blood, towel, and a set of keys.
State 16,
As view looking down onto the mattress with the blood and the towel.
State 17, what is this one?
A little bit further back view, also showing which was, I believe it was a diaper bag, also on the floor.
State's 18, what do we have here?
Just a different view of it, and then you also see more of the blood in front of the mattress and baby wipes.
And then the last one in this section, State's 19.
That's looking towards the door, towards the hallway of the room.
Your man approach.
Yes.
Sir, I'm going to hand you State's Exhibit 20 and 21. See if those are fair and accurate photographs of the knife that you collected or found in this case.
It is.
Judge, at this time, I intend to evidence State's Exhibits 20 and 21.
No objection.
You're admitted.
Permission to publish them, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at State's 20. When you found the knife, do you do anything? Do you touch it, move it, do anything like that, or what's your procedure when finding evidence?
We don't touch it until it's photographed and collected properly.
Again, at this point, you didn't know who used the knife or how it was used or anything basic beyond just what your general information was?
I did not.
Stage 21. What do we have in this picture?
The knife with a ruler to show the length of the knife.
And this knife that was collected, at some point were you asked to, I guess, stop what you were doing and the scene was going to be turned over to the sheriff's office?
Yes.
Who was it turned over to? Do you know?
The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office Crime Scene Unit.
Do you know which investigator or crime scene technician came and processed it?
Officer Shaw, or Deputy Shaw.
Did you work with him before?
Yes, I have.
Have y'all worked together for years, I guess?
Yes.
Now, what was the reason for the sheriff's office being called in? Do you know?
It's just they have more equipment and their training is more detailed than the training we have for processing a crime scene like that.
Now, we're looking at this case many years after the fact, but at the time that you're at the scene, is it fair to say that you didn't know whether or not there's going to have to be a lot of special processing by a crime scene unit? Is that why they're brought in, basically?
Yes,
So you didn't know if fingerprints or any other type of specialty knowledge or training was going to be needed?
yes,
And when you were there, though, before that happened, did all the evidence that was collected by crime scene technician Shaw, was all that evidence, including the knife and everything else, was that turned over to you?
yes,
And did y'all then take that back and secure it at the police department?
yes,
Did you follow your proper procedures for maintaining the chain of custody, maintaining the security and integrity of evidence when you did that?
yes.
To your knowledge, was there any issues of tampering with evidence or the mishandling evidence or anything like that?
No,
Just you followed all the procedures and then documented that, including any evidence that was taken to the crime lab?
yes,
Now, when you're there at some point, obviously you talked to two men, is that right?
yes,
And when you talked to the gentleman, do you remember meeting with Jason Spillers?
yes,
And do you remember meeting with Brian Joyce or Benjamin Ben Michael?
yes.
And tell the jury kind of where they were at when you talked to them.
They had been separated. Mr. Ben Michael was in another room being interviewed by Sergeant Soto.
I want to start with Jason Spillers, if that's all right. You're on my approach again. State's Exhibit 22, 23, and 24. See if you recognize those photographs as some that you've taken in this case.
They are?
Are they fair enough photographs of Jason Spillers at the scene on December 8, 2020?
They are.
Your Honor, I tender these into evidence now.
No objection.
You're admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
All right, let's look at States 22. All right, this is Jason Spillers, is that right?
Yes.
Why did you take this photograph?
He had blood on his face and his forehead there.
Now, as we look at this photograph, kind of describe, if you could, for the record, you say it's on his forehead, but where all over the forehead is it?
The upper part of his forehead.
Do you know how that blood got there?
No, I don't.
Stage 23, what are we looking at here?
The palm side of his hands and his arms were cut with blood.
Stage 24, what do we have here?
It was the top side of his hands and arms with blood
Why did you take these photographs?
because of the blood all over his body, his arms.
And finally, did you have an opportunity to meet with Brian Joyce and Benjamin Ben Michael and take photographs of how he appeared after the stabbing?
Yes.
Your may approach. This is State's Exhibit 25 through 28. Let's hold on to those and see if those are fair and accurate photographs of Brian Joyce.
They are.
Your Honor, this time I tendered those in States 25 through 28 into evidence.
No objection.
You're admitted.
And may I publish them, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
25, what are we looking at here?
Mr. Ben Michael, he's in the back bedroom where he was with Sergeant Soto.
Now, it hasn't taken me very long to go through these photographs, but trying to show the time at the time that this occurred and how long things take. About how long were you at the scene taking pictures and things before you actually started doing these type of photographs?
Maybe 10, 15 minutes.
And during that time, were you able to actually see how people were emoting or how they're just how they looked and how they were presented to other people?
Yes.
You ever seen people in shock before?
Yes,
You ever seen people trying to process something that just doesn't normally happen?
yes.
Here's the next picture. States 26. What is this a picture of?
Picture of the blood on his shirt.
States 27. What do we have a picture here?
Pictures on the palm of his hands and on the sleeve of his shirt.
And then States Exhibit 28. What is this one?
The top parts of his hands with blood and the blood on the shirt.
When you talked to Jason Spillers, the first person we have photographs of, what was his demeanor like?
He was kind of shook and not still trying to process everything.
Did it appear that whether or not he was in shock?
He might have been. I can't say we're certain.
Part of your job when there's a death scene, as in this case, have you ever had to notify, for example, a father that his child had died?
Yes,
Did you have to do that in this case?
yes.
Tell the jury, if you would, when you notified Benjamin and Michael, Brian Joyce, that Hannah had died, how did he respond?
He was extremely emotional, crying. Had to sit down on the edge of the bed and just sobbing. And I try to ask for somebody that we can contact for him or not.
Did it appear he was just undone, overcome?
Yes.
Judge Matt Price just put some evidence up. May I have one moment, please, Your Honor?
All right, thank you. Cross-examination, Ms. Trethewey.
I have no questions of this witness, thank you.
All right. Any reason to keep the witness?
No, Your Honor.
You can be excused. Thank you, sir. All right, call your next witness, please.
Chris Shaw. Yeah, we'll show you pictures. Raise your right hand.